Hello, and welcome to Nerds of the Old Republic, the drinking show where we talk about nerdy fiction like portals and pickles. I'm Pickle Rick, bitch.
I love myself.
Thank you. I'm Adam.
I'm Sean.
And I'm Mike.
And we are here talking about, if you don't know, you should know. We're talking about Rick and Morty, which kind of follows up from our Cowboy Bebop Adult Swim episodes as a way to follow through, because this is where we are at in 2025 when it comes to Adult Swim. Rick and Morty. Like, Jesus. What else do you need to know? Yeah. It's Rick and Morty. It's been 9 seasons. And Rick says so. So, we are going to talk about I guess it's sci-fi?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's extremely sci-fi, among other things.
He's got a portal gun, and it's the multiverse.
Yeah. Yes.
So we're talking about Rick and Morty. Oh my gosh, with Jerry, what's his name from the 90s?
Yeah.
Dear Lord,
John
Sliders.
Rhys Davis was in it.
Yep.
And Jerry O'Connell.
And
his brother, the other O'Connell.
Who doesn't matter.
No, but with Sliders was very much like if not for Sliders, you would not have Rick and Morty.
That's right.
That's probably the booze talking.
Yeah. So I'm going to say Sliders to Rick and Morty to Pickle Rick, motherfucker. And this is the third cast of the episode, or the night.
It's the third
so it could be
cast
kind of
the episode.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be one of those.
Leroy Jenkins.
Just get ready for a lot of Adam malapropisms.
Oh, I like to mix my metaphors and my drinks.
Yes.
Yep. So we're going to talk about that. But first, I hear there's another beer?
What?
Yes.
Come on now.
2 beers? No. Wait a minute.
Is there 1 cup?
This one was tricky to do for multiple reasons. So my criteria was this. It had to be in a bottle because Rick is an alcoholic who is always pictured drinking beer out of a bottle.
Should we,
Correct.
Should we be burping and
And have drool out of her mouth the whole time?
Green drool.
Yeah.
So it couldn't be a can. It had to be a bottle. That was one criteria. Number 2, it had to be something that Sean would appreciate because we had to go with the double hazy IPA for the last episode. And thank you, Sean, for
indulging us.
To his
finished
credit.
it. Well, he poured the last 2 ounces on his hand.
That is
for what it's worth.
And on the
Can I
DVD,
also-
which no longer works.
Yeah.
I just say real quick, I think prefacing that beer with a copious amount of rum made it more palatable.
There you go.
Okay. All right.
The Jack Sparrow on us.
So that was my second criteria. My third criteria was there had to be. I didn't know what exactly would be the connection thematically to the episode, but there had to be something. And so this is called Triple Dog. And of course, dog is like every other word out of Rick's mouth. You know, he's always like, "Don't even trip, dog," or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was
Yo,
like,
dog,
all right.
I heard you like your dog, dog.
That's right. Exactly. I was like, that's it then. So we got the bottle, we got something Sean hopefully will appreciate, and we got a word that connects. So this is from everyone will know Abita. They've been around forever. Actually, now that I sent Sean on a mission for the bottle opener, I see it very clearly says pry
That's
off
a twist
cap
off.
there on the top.
Yes.
Okay.
And this is Triple Dog, and it is an Imperial Triple Brown Ale.
What's a pry-off cap? Like
I was wondering about that too. Because
you can't twist it. You shouldn't be able to.
So pry off. Okay, so we do need the bottle off.
You were right to get the church key.
to pry it off.
Yeah.
the church key.
Church key.
So
That's what we call it in my Irish family here. Thank you.
Vanilla.
You'll appreciate this. Yeah.
Are there
Triple
notes
dog.
to read?
Would you like to make it up?
I didn't see him on the bottle.
I see it.
It's there.
Oh yes,
On the far side.
It's right there. Yes.
Yep.
Please.
Would you like me to?
I would
Please.
like
I
you
would
to,
love
Sean.
to.
It's one of my favorite.
Yo,
things.
we're about to slow jam these tasting notes.
This is for all you lovers out there.
Triple dog. Imperial triple brown. All right.
It's been a long afternoon.
This
Triple Dog.
velvety ale is brewed with generous amounts of pale caramel and chocolate malts and Willamette hops. It is aged with whole natural vanilla beans for the natural flavor and aroma of creamy vanilla. This combination provides a rich body and color with chocolate, vanilla, and toffee-like flavors.
I'm going to make a group chat reference.
Well, this bell is...
Oh, gosh, is it dead?
There it is.
Snoop
Thank you.
Dogg. Oh, hey, yo. One of us got
channeling my
the
Captain
blue
Holt.
LP on that one.
Yes.
So jealous.
Yes, I did. I posted that on Blue Sky. Find us
did.
on Blue Sky. Yeah, I was rocking Doggy Style. It was one of my... I was rocking the album Doggy
Yeah.
Style.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It has been a long
I like,
afternoon,
how the
Jen.
Yes.
I like how the tasting notes said toffee light.
Toffee light.
Not toffee exactly.
No.
But it's toffee,
Toffee
light.
'Cause-
like.
Toffee is abhorrent. Toffee like
Yeah.
acceptable.
I like toffee adjacent flavors.
Sure.
All right, well, shall we?
Oh, that's all I smell. Cheers is the toffee.
Aromas. Cheers.
I like how you keep going into the glass.
I like to look at the color. This one's a nice.
That's a
what you would
dark-
expect. It's a
Yeah.
very dark.
There you go,
That
Sean.
is nice.
That is a beer that someone would buy for me when I'm drunk at a bar. And they're like, look at you, beer you like. And they hand me that. I'm like, oh, it tastes great. And then the next day I'm like, what did I drink?
What the fuck?
You're like, thank you, founders bartender. You knew me so well.
For the record, honestly, toffee is the first fucking thing I would say after drinking this.
Oh,
It
the
might be the
vanilla.
only
It's
thing.
The
actually.
vanilla is very forward to me.
Do not smell the vanilla.
I'm getting a lot of vanilla in that, at least the aftertaste. And I know it says Imperial Triple Brown Ale, vanilla, and it says ale with vanilla. I'm getting the vanilla. I'm not sure what your guys' vanilla deficiencies are.
I
Can I
didn't say
just
I
point
didn't taste
out
vanilla.
that we ended the night with the 8%
Yeah.
alcohol? I love it.
If you guys need to crash for me, I got room
There
for
is
you.
a Sabres game on. No, it's not going well.
My liver is doing okay. It's all right.
The, I'm getting the vanilla, and I am loving it. It reminds you of Alphabet's cereal.
Oh my God. Jesus,
dude,
yes.
what a
That is a deep
aftertaste,
cut.
It's like a bite of Alphabets.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did not give the cold open of what are we talking about with Rick and Morty, some sort of like sarcastic joke here. But we're talking about Rick and Morty, which is the Adult Swim TV show airing from 2017 till now.
It's still going, yeah.
Yeah,
Still
there,
going.
there was a bit of a break. They had done 3 seasons, and then the show didn't get canceled. It wasn't like Family Guy, and then it got brought back, or Futurama. There was a long break.
Was there some controversy in there too with the creator?
Well, that was later on. This is
Okay.
well after the 3rd season, but yes.
Okay.
So there was a long break of, it might have been 2 years or something. I'd have to look it up, but it was quite a while before it finally came back. So now it's got 7 seasons total released. But in the 7th season, which I have not watched yet, they had a lot of the voices are now voiced by new actors because a lot of the voices in the show were voiced by one voice actor who was a co-creator in the show, who apparently had some stuff going on and was very difficult to work with, and they finally moved on to him. He was the voice of Rick and Morty in all the episodes we've watched and all through all the first 6 seasons. So they now I have not watched the 7th season, but I did put on the first episode briefly just to hear the voices. And I will say, I honestly think, like, if I had just been watching and I didn't know all that, it would have taken me a while to catch that it's something
Really?
different.
Wow.
Whoever they got did a really nice job.
That is some talented voice acting to do Rick and Morty. Not like
And a lot of other voices in the show.
Yeah.
right. It's like South Park. I get it. I understand. Like the quality isn't as what you're thinking for like a high end kind of animated show, but like Morty and Rick sound nothing alike, and to be able to pull that off,
Drastically different.
kudos, I guess.
Yeah, he's whatever his deficiencies as a human being, he is an incredibly talented animated voice actor.
Oh, jeez, Rick.
Because I mean, honestly, like the shows, they're fucking hilarious, but like the delivery of the lines is a huge part of it, for sure.
Oh my
Jesus,
gosh.
Morty.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, like there's this like guttural like resonance to Rick's voice. and then Morty's like way up nasal the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's really impressive. So I'd been aware of Rick and Morty for probably since its beginning, but I had never watched a single episode just because I do not have, the cables. I have the streamings right now. So this was brand new to me. And as Mike picked the episodes, he picked Sean and I forced him to pick the top 4.
Curate a list.
Yeah, I think the dictum was curate top 4.
The hardest homework you had since
You
grade
did
school.
not know what you were doing to me.
And then he literally was like, here's 4 episodes that I absolutely think we need to talk about. And then here's another 6 that we should probably talk about.
Yeah, so I created I called it the further reading. And it was these are not assigned for the episode, but if you enjoy it and you got time,
Dude.
So
I gotta say the same though, honestly. We're going to jump in. I was aware of Rick and Morty very much as part of the zeitgeist, and know of a lot of the surrounding atmosphere of Rick and Morty, but I had never watched it before we assigned it.
Mike, had you watched it from the beginning?
Not from the beginning. All 3 of the first seasons were already out by the time I came to it. But I had heard a lot about it and been curious about the show. And I don't get curious about a lot of TV. I'm a huge movie watcher, but I'm not a big TV watcher. I tend to watch the same TV that I've always watched, which is South Park and Futurama and a few other things over and over and over again. I don't branch out and watch a ton of new TV. But anyways, it was, I don't remember if it was during the pandemic or before the pandemic, but it was sometime after the first 3 seasons had come out. And I'd heard enough about the show to think I would like this. It sounds like something I would find funny. So I remember I just kind of came across it was on TV one night and I'm like, well, what the fuck? I'll just watch an episode. And, I believe, at least in my memory, this is true. The first episode I watched was the Pickle Rick.
No fucking way.
I think that's
the greatest episode ever.
At least it's the first episode I remember watching. And
Damn.
I remember being like, holy fuck. I words fail. And I went back and I did something I never do and binge watched a TV show. I crushed those first 3 seasons in days.
Yeah.
And then I just went back and rewatched them a whole bunch of times. So when it comes to the first 3 seasons of this show, I've probably seen every episode of it 8 to a dozen times.
Dang.
Wow.
I have just kept rewatching.
Where do you get the time?
And then,
honestly.
it's not time. It's you're falling asleep at night and you're like, I'll put on Rick and Morty to fall asleep that. But and then I have seen 4 and 5. I've seen all the way through, maybe once, and I've seen part of 6. I'm actually still working on 6, and haven't finished yet. And I've not seen any of 7 other than when I said I tuned in to hear the voices. But the first 3, actually, I've probably seen 4 twice. I think I watched that twice through when it first came out. But yeah, the early seasons.
Yeah. That's impressive.
And for my money, you could probably tell from the list I curated here, season 3 was the fucking pinnacle, man.
I was going to say most episodes
2 was great,
3.
but 3 was dude, every episode in that. I didn't even put the Mad Max episode on here. We just did Mad Max in our last episode. And
even as a Back to the Future aficionado, I'm I don't understand the premise comes basically out of the idea of a mad scientist and a young apprentice kind of thing, and the whole that was the influence that made the guy create. Excuse me, I'm about to burp like Rick.
There you go, Grandpa.
And I just feel like I can't believe it took me this long to get to it. Now that I'm in, I'm I must complete this. It's it's so fucking insanely bizarre, and yet oh my god, I need to watch this.
Every episode is handled with Deus Ex Machina. Rick is just going to solve the thing with his brilliance. But I don't care. It's just funny. It's just interesting.
What's great is that they actually call attention to that fairly often. The one I didn't put this on our top 5 list, but there's an episode. There's a callback to it in one of the ones we watched where she digs his body up in the backyard.
Yes.
Pickle, not Pickle.
No, that wasn't one. That wasn't one of them.
The second one.
Rickshank Redemption.
Yeah, Rickshank Redemption. They dig his body up.
Yeah, so he's like, if you want to find a grandpa that really cares about you, then grab a shovel because he's in the backyard. And she's like, great idea. And he goes, no, I was using ghoulish overkill.
Yep.
But it's a callback to an earlier episode where he fucks shit up so bad that it turns into, they keep calling it Cronenberg World, which is like a reference to, the director.
Michael Cronenberg.
So like all the people on Earth have turned into these horrible mutant Cronenberg monsters. And he tries to fix it several times and he just keeps making it worse. So at the very end, his solution to it is that he finds another universe where it's virtually identical to the one they live in. The only difference is that Rick and Morty themselves had literally just died like moments before. And they simply just go through and reassume those, they bury them in the backyard and then they reassume their lives. And then there's a ton, if you watch the show, there's a ton of callbacks to that. Like he keeps coming back up in the show. The fact that they're not living in their original universe. And Rick does that actually a couple more times. He like saves them by going to another universe. But the joke in the original show is he's like, you think this makes me happy, Morty? He's like, you can only get away with this 2, maybe 3 more times. The audience is going to start to get real pissed off.
You mentioned that in your show notes too, I think.
Yep.
I love the just like I didn't watch the whole thing from the beginning, and just getting into it and like jumping in, it's like you get a sense of it. But the absurdity just takes you on a journey for every episode. You don't even really need to.
But then you're in for it.
Yeah.
Right? So even like, what is it, Rickshank Redemption, where they're like, keep her safe in the spaceship.
Right.
And it like
keep Summer safe.
Keep Summer safe.
The Ricks must be crazy.
The Ricks must be crazy. And it like literally just like cuts a man to ribbons. And then she's like, no, don't do that again.
Right.
Don't do that again. And he's like, okay, I will find psychological things I can destroy. And he brings back the cop's drowned son.
I didn't know that was Morty's sister. I'm like, oh, is that Rick's girlfriend? But it didn't matter at the end. It's like, holy cow, it reanimated, created this like version of this cop's like corpse son or whatever that disintegrates.
He
turns back to liquid.
Who comes up with this?
He's like, oh my god, and he's like, Daddy, please don't hurt the spaceship. And then he just melts away.
Yes.
Yep. And they make peace with the spiders.
Right. And yes, that's you can't. So you can't kill them. You can't horrifically injure them. You can't psychologically damage them. So the ship is finally resort to brokering peace.
Yeah. It's like step 7.
Rick and Morty are in the battery. Like a world within a world within a world. And
they're the battery. Yeah. Yes. In the the microverse? Nanoverse, microverse.
To a curve on a stick.
Yep.
All right. Well, we might as well start going through it. I mean, we're on that episode now. That was the first one on the list. So that was starring the great Stephen Colbert, friend of the show.
Oh my gosh, Stephen Colbert is the alien in the microverse.
The alien scientist. That's right. And I one of my favorite things about that is the way that that Rick greets them in the beginning, where he's flicking them off.
I tell them it's peace between worlds.
It's like, Rick, what are you doing? And he's like, isn't that great? I told him it means peace among worlds. And then moments later, he goes, hey, can we meet this new scientist? And the guy goes, fuck you.
Yeah. He's like,
Rick grabs him and goes, what the fuck did you say, you piece of shit? And he goes, you told us that means peace among worlds.
Yes.
Or no, I'm sorry, much obliged.
Much obliged, yeah.
And you know that was inspired by that Simpsons episode where Lisa generates like that, like
Treehouse
of Horror,
where
she makes like so much that you can see the influences, but that makes it better.
Yeah,
it makes it better.
Yeah,
a fine line.
All right, so we were just talking about Rick's Must Be Crazy and how, well, I guess it is literally crazy if that's your introduction to the series that literally you can just do whatever you want because Rick will figure it out. And like, that's kind of the nice premise of the show is in every episode, Rick will solve the problem. However, Rick wants to solve it for Rick.
So having not watched the beginning of the series, because you gave us a curated list, it says that he is the smartest mammal in the universe.
Mm-hmm. Man, did I write mammal?
You might have man. In Rick's mammal. Must Be Crazy, they say mammal all the time. He's the smartest mammal in the universe.
Wow. So basically, he's the smartest entity in the universe. And obviously, in the Pickle Rick episode, you see it. Like
we'll get there.
We're getting there. But like, just the fact that he is just like unbelievably OP when it comes to his intellectual power. And that is like a big conceit in the story. It's like he's so smart. It's almost like everything else around him is like, oh, what the fuck? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't even matter.
Like you said, he goes from his prime universe and just is like, yeah, fuck it. Let's go to like some other universe. And it's the same. It's super close. What's the difference, right? It's the same people.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So he's the smartest man in the universe, and his portal gun doesn't just travel like through space; it travels through universes. Like it goes through the infinite amount of universes, which is where the Citadel comes in, and that's where we're headed all in the next episode and everything. But yeah, he's it's some of the great one of the greatest pieces of this show. Rick's Must Be Crazy. This episode. It's just a lot of the one-liners between him and Stephen Colbert, where Stephen Colbert is like, wait a minute, did you create my universe? And he's like, that's right, you fucking power my car. He didn't even create it for a good reason. It was just to power his car.
And as Stephen Colbert is going through his like breakthrough of the miniverse or whatever he called his battery, Rick is in the background pantomiming what he would say.
Like, oh, someone's going to get laid in college.
Yeah. Stephen Colbert delivers it deadpan as that.
And he goes, Rick says something about like, or Morty says like, it just sounds like slavery with more steps. And so then Rick says that in the very next world to Stephen Colbert, and Morty goes, don't you see the hypocrisy here? And he's like, oh my God, you're right. And then he concocts some like really long-winded way in which he's going to make Stephen Colbert realize that he's being hypocritical.
Yes.
Yep.
Not
that Rick is.
As the introduction to the series, bravo, Mike.
Yeah, that was a fantastic fucking pick.
It fucking pulled me in from the jump. Yes.
Yeah, I got you.
Bell-worthy moment.
Well, and I picked this one as the first one too because I thought like it's not the craziest and the zaniest of the Rick and Mortys. It has a fairly straightforward premise as these things go, and I was like, that would be a good introduction. Like, get to know the characters and the sense of humor and stuff. So I thought that would be a good one. I mean, to me, like, the best thing about Rick and Morty is we'll continue to talk about is how all these episodes start out like they're kind of funny, and then at some point they just fucking take a hard right turn into craziness. And for me, in this episode, it's the moment when the car does the ghost child thing. Like, that to me is like, that was the best fucking part.
You may not use physical violence. Using psychological violence to protect Summer. And it's literally like, you see the picture of like the newspaper where it's like, police officer's son drowns or something. And it's like, incubating is the next word. And you're like, what is it incubating?
Incubating.
Oh my God, it incubated his dead son.
The only thing I could think of when watching this episode was like, the writers must have been so fucking high.
Yeah.
What were they tripping? What were they tripping on while they wrote this episode?
It does seem like one of those shows where they must have a writing room where they're just like, dude, anything goes. Like, don't be afraid to say anything. Any idea is good. But then that cop is sitting there sobbing.
Yes.
And the ship makes the announcement, all can be given. All can be taken away. Do not approach the spaceship.
Yes.
All has
Summer
loved ones
safe.
that I can harm. Yep.
Summer is safe.
Yeah, in the meantime, the cop's kid like melts the plastic and is like, Daddy, don't hurt Summer. Oh my God. That was a deep intro to the first one. Like,
absolutely.
Whew.
What was the next one?
You're in for it.
So the next one's Rickshank, the Rickshank Redemption, and that is the one where it's actually the first episode in season 3, but it's a second in a 2-part episode. So in the final episode of season 2, Rick is being hunted by the what are they
Federation?
called? The Federation, federal government, whatever, and the Galactic Federation. And so he finally turns himself. This is the extremely short version, but he finally turns himself in order so that his family will stop being hunted. And so the season ends with him being put into galactic prison. And so that's where it picks up, and we get Rick's daring escape and flashbacks to, or not flashbacks, but cut to life on Earth under Federation control. What'd you guys think of this one?
Okay, so Morty's stepdad is like working for the Federation. So I've reached the drunken point where I have to embarrassing, but bear with me on it.
That's fine.
It's going to sound great.
Every human being has been there.
Fucking IPA. And so his stepdad is working for the Federation. Summer.
That's his father.
His father.
Voiced by Chris Parnell of SNL fame.
I thought it was his stepdad.
No, because they have marital problems. And
by the end of the episode, they divorce.
Explain this to me, because Rick his daughter is like his everything, right?
Sort of.
And that's why he
is her everything.
Because when they're in his head, like trying to figure out the formula for the stun gun thing or the portal gun, they're like, "Oh, it's this moment when you invented the thing," and it's when his daughter,
no, that's his wife
and daughter were wiped out.
Yeah, I
or
guess
whatever.
she'd be a baby. Yeah.
And he's like, "Nah, I made that shit up or whatever." Right. So okay,
fabricated backstory.
So his daughter, she loves him.
Yes.
And he loves her.
Yes.
And Morty is his grandson. And Summer is his granddaughter.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that guy is...
The guy who married his daughter.
He's not a stepfather?
No, he's not a stepfather.
Oh,
that's the
he's
father.
Just a simp.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Very
he's
much
a cuck
so.
for the show.
But, and I would say, he loves his daughter in as much as it's possible for Rick to love anything.
But it's not really his daughter. It's an alternate universe daughter.
Well, it is his daughter in terms of simple family tree, but yes, he is now. You're correct, canon wise.
Rick 392 or whatever.
Yeah, he's living in a different universe. There's actually in a more recent season, there's an episode where he accidentally fucks something up and it resets everybody like a cell phone to factory settings. It resets everybody to their original universe. And you're reminded how many of these characters have jumped universes throughout when you see that episode.
Damn,
that's good writing.
Yeah,
that's good writing.
You know your shit.
But yeah, so this episode is another one where it starts like fairly conventional. He's in a fucking Shoney's. And he's,
with the fly guy,
he realizes, with the that's the species that's like the Galactic Federation or whatever, and they're trying to get the portal gun like secret from him, so they want to go back to that memory. There's the fucking hilarious Szechuan sauce, side plot.
That became
McDonald's only released the Szechuan sauce to support Mulan, and it was a limited time.
He goes, "I want a lot, like as much as you're able to give me."
Oh my god!
Yep.
I had never seen Rick and Morty, but I knew about the Szechuan sauce connection. Before
that was a real thing.
Yes.
What?
It was part of like pop culture for a while. We were talking about Szechuan sauce. Oh, Rick and Morty and the Szechuan sauce, and it's like. Excuse me. I knew about it before I had even watched the show.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great. And then he's showing him what you think is a memory. It turns out to be a fabricated backstory, but he's devastated. He's heartbroken. His family has just been killed, and this was like the life-changing moment. So he like drops to his knees and he's like, no! And the fucking alien bug is like, boy, this fucking sauce is amazing.
It's all over his face. Yep.
Dude, the nuance, the layers in that episode. Like he's fighting, and it's like all these Ricks in the Citadel killing each other, and then he's like, "Oh, there's Rick Trick in the book."
Yeah, they sent SEAL Team Rick.
Oh yes, my God.
SEAL Team Rick, and then there's like the panel of Ricks.
The panel of Ricks,
where it's like, "I knew you were jealous of him because of your hair."
Oh, just the fact that he even hands like Morty the gun is like, "This is a fake gun."
Shoot me in a standoff.
Oh, yeah.
And Morty's like, "Yeah, I read.
I totally saw that note."
Yeah.
I love how there's like 4 times in that episode where Rick shows up and just totally fucks everything up, and then he goes, "I'm gonna go take a shit."
Yes.
Yes. It's like projects his consciousness into all these other bodies. Like, I'm gonna take a shit. I'm gonna take a shit.
He takes over the Fly like Federation. He's like,
and they all start
take a shit. Level 9,
drooling and burping like him.
Yeah.
Like, you gave us a Morty lawyer. He's not really a lawyer. We just keep him around because he's great. Look at him go. And he starts doing a little dance.
He does it. Yeah, he does it. And then he does whisper into Summer's face or something.
Oh, he starts doing a lawyer whisper. Like they ask Morty a question, so the lawyer Morty like starts whispering in his ear, and the other Morty shoves him off and goes, "No, I don't want to go look at your Pog collection."
Oh. Yes. I love the randomness there.
I love the Morty political candidate who turns out to be like really like, oh wow, something's wrong with this guy.
That's evil Morty, and that's actually his second appearance in the show, and he's got a whole arc. He shows his best.
Jeez.
Yep, he's got a whole arc. Yep.
I gotta watch this whole show.
Yeah, oh man, it's great because every episode is its own thing, but there are definitely overarching narrative arcs.
In your Morty voice?
Oh man! Oh gee! How about Morty? And we'll get to it. But did you watch the Ricklantis Mixup episode, Sean?
Which one was that?
It was on the Citadel, and it was like all the different stories and stuff.
Yes. Well, they had the cop.
All of
Yeah,
that.
it's a
The
training
cop-
day.
the cop
It's training
Morty.
day.
Yeah.
Training day, yeah.
Did you watch it too?
Yeah.
That was on my list.
I just watched all of them. I watched as much as I could.
I'm glad.
So
That was fucking awesome.
we're ready to talk about.
wait.
Go ahead.
We gotta talk about Pickle Rick.
It is
I was gonna
time.
say we're ready to talk about
We
Pickle
gotta
Rick.
talk about Pickle Rick.
Pickle
What
Rick.
does one do when one does not want to go to family therapy? You turn
into
yourself
a
a pickle.
I'm a pickle. Look at this. I'm a pickle.
Oh, I can't move.
Stop looking for hidden layers, Morty. I'm a pickle. Just appreciate it for what it is.
Turn me so you can see me. It's
Yeah.
he's he has no agency. He's a
Yeah.
fucking pickle.
He doesn't have agency until he gets into the sewers with the rats, and he fucking slaughters the rats.
That is for like what I was saying before about how every episode starts out with like 6 or 7 minutes of like pedestrianness,
Yeah.
and then it just goes off the rails. That's how this episode is too. Like it's like,
Straight,
haha, he's
yeah.
a pickle, whatever,
Yeah.
and then he
Can't
falls into the
move.
sewer. But it's when he starts fighting the rats that you're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, this is getting good.
It
Yeah.
goes from like, all right, so misadventures until someone finds him in the gutter and like you turn him back into Rick. It's like, no, he fucking bites himself,
Yes.
gets a cockroach.
Hey, cockroach.
He said,
Come on, yeah, get
come
some of
get
this-
this brine, this briny goodness.
Takes the brain of the cockroach, turns it like with his mouth and tongue
Yeah.
into like a robot for him. And I'll tell
He
him, like,
ratatouilles
yes!
that fucking cockroach.
Then builds like a cockroach like mech. And then uses that to lure rats in, builds a rat mech, and becomes Pickle fucking Rick. I'm Pickle Rick! I love myself!
And I gotta say, like,
Oh my god!
I was telling Mike and Sean this earlier, everybody, and I was watching it this morning right before we're podcasting, and my younger son walks in and he's like, "Is that Pickle Rick?" And I'm like, "You've never seen an episode of your life. How do you know this?" He's like, "A bunch of my friends have Pickle Rick hoodies and shit."
So my kids knew it too. They were like,
my
oh,
God.
Pickle Rick. We gotta watch the Pickle Rick episode. I'm like, it's on the list.
Yeah.
We watched it, and they got these fucking shit-eating grins on their face.
Yeah.
Like, can we watch more? Like, they got the crack addict. And I'm like, I don't know, guys. This is kind of this is a little
It's
deep.
kind of MA. Yeah.
Oh my
And
god! It's
So,
so
we
good.
we barely touched on Stephen Colbert, and then Susan Sarandon's the fucking therapist in
Yeah,
this
she's the
episode.
therapist in this, right? And so her
my
job,
God.
she has this multifaceted job where she handles clients
Mostly
who need
corporophagy.
family therapy, and then the other clients she handles are people who eat shit.
Yeah,
Yes.
corporophagy.
Literally eat
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. She has
Oh my God.
she has an album of it on the office,
Right.
and Morty's like, "Oh my god, these are pictures
Right.
of people eating
They
shit."
run into Morty's math teacher on his way out, and
Yep.
he goes,
Yes.
how long have you guys been eating poop?" And they go, Summer goes, "We have never eaten poop."
That was like the Simpsons episode where it's like the Big Book of British Smiles. You know, it's like
Yeah.
it's like that whole idea.
We
Oh.
have never.
He becomes like Die Hard. He's like this, like
Right.
Oh, and then he like gets the ultimate warrior, and they join up
Right.
with a helicopter thing at the end. It keeps escalating.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my god, a Jaguar character.
So the shit in the sewer you think is like, that's got to be
Sorry.
the height
No,
of the...
deserved it.
inadvertent
Jaguar deserved
knowledge,
it.
yes.
It's got to be the height of the craziness, but then he comes out of the toilet and he's like in this building that's like whatever, they're Slovenia or whatever it
Yeah.
is. Like it's like these Slovenian like fucking spies or terrorists
Warlords
or whatever
or
the
something?
fuck they are. Like now he's got to fight his way out of there. And oh my god,
Whose toilet is this?
Right. And the one-liners he gets off are crazy. He's like, they already killed 2 of our men, and he's on the phone. He's like, "You should know they killed themselves." And he's like,
Yep.
"What? How did they kill themselves?" And he goes, "They didn't let me out."
It's an action movie.
Right.
at the
Yeah,
end.
Oh my
and
God,
yeah,
it's so
it
good.
is Die Hard-esque, and then the
Yes.
clubbing warlord's like, "Jaguar, we have your daughter. You can get out of here now if you just capture. What do they call Pickle Rick? Solenia?
Yeah.
Oh
something,
yeah, like the Baba Yaga from
Yeah, it's the Nicaraguan Baba Yaga. It's the Pickle Lord. I can't believe I didn't do this thing.
the Pickle Man.
The Pickle Man is going to
Oh
come
my
get
God,
me.
It's so good. It
Oh,
is
there's
so
the
good.
scene. There's the scene where they're watching the security cameras, and
Yes.
he's knocking them out one by
One by one.
Yes.
And Jaguar is doing like some not Nicolas Cage. Who am I thinking of? It's what was the other guy from the 1980s who was like an action star who was
Stallone.
No,
Schwarzenegger?
keep going. No, keep going. He did lots
Van
of
Damme.
maybe Jean-Claude Van Damme, where he's doing like all these splits and shit.
Yeah,
he's like, and they're just like, you don't even realize when they're airing it that they're just playing with each other in order to distract the cameras, so they can get up to the helicopter.
Right.
Nuts.
Oh, it's great.
So good.
Well, and then he drops that thing about like how he just found another universe so he could be with his family again or whatever.
Yeah.
And,
Do I
and
have
Jaguar's
infinite daughters?
He's about to jump out of the helicopter. He goes, "Wait, do I have more daughters?" Oh, no, that was just me.
It's just me. Yeah, and his unibrow was like straight. No. That's just me. Sorry, guy.
I love how he winds up at family therapy anyway.
Yes, he still
As
goes.
Pickle Rick.
Right.
Yeah.
And she's so like okay with it. And then finally he's like, well, Summer, or not Summer, whatever his daughter's name is. What do you got in your purse there? Is that the
Is that the syringe?
It's like the wood glue or something that she's been... Oh, yeah, the thing that he uses to turn back into.
Yeah, it's a syringe that was hanging over his head that was going to be cut down by a timer.
They're driving home and he's like, him and his daughter are like tighter than ever. And she's like, oh yeah, honey, I'm really hurting. You got that sir. Oh yeah, Dad, sorry.
Yeah. And then they decide to go to Shoney's.
I was just... Yeah, you want to go to Shoney's or some other place to tie one on?
Meanwhile, Morty's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. The absurdity of it all escapes Earth's gravity.
It's like we were saying last cast, though.
Well put.
The shameless embrace of the absurdity. Like this is where we're going to do this because we know it's absurd and we're like winking at the audience is what makes it so great. So, anything else on Pickle Rick?
I gotta say, it stands on the shoulders of The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Especially when I have to say the Treehouse of Horror.
Yes.
Halloween episodes. It stands on the shoulders of South Park. It stands on the shoulders of Family Guy.
Yeah.
All of these things basically allowed... Excuse me. Oh, my God. It allowed Rick and Morty to run before it even had to walk. Honestly. Hit the ground running.
Great point.
Because of the fact that they blazed the trail for it.
For sure. It comes down from... It's got the Simpsons cleverness.
Yes.
It's got South Park's, like, irreverence.
Yes.
And it's got Family Guy's randomness.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think it needed Family Guy's randomness for each episode in order to, like, create a random cohesion, if that makes sense, because it still feels cohesive, even though you're like, he's a fucking pickle.
Right.
And he just stapled a cucumber to his body.
No, it makes sense. Yeah, he's like cutting out pieces and like...
Right.
While the Jaguar is like pouring
up.
coffee into his
God.
like laser burn. Yeah.
Audience, you need to watch. If you've never watched Rick and Morty, I'm talking to you people who have never watched Rick and Morty.
That was me too.
Watch it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I will watch the entire series now because it is worth it.
It's so good. Even the week episodes are so good.
I just love how like self-aware it is. Because it was like was it the first episode we watched where they're like, there's 9 more seasons?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I know where we're going.
That was the end of the Rickshank Redemption.
The Rickshank Redemption.
At the end, because it was like the beginning of the 3rd season or whatever. And he's like, it's all been about Szechuan sauce, Morty.
Yeah.
It's all been Szechuan sauce. This whole thing is going to be a 9-season arc. It's going to be my... And he just starts ranting and raving about
He's at the like open of his garage from his lab, and he's just shouting into the sky.
He rearranges the flies.
Yes.
So like
which
Summer,
is what Summer has said.
Yes, Summer was right.
There's so many great levels.
He's like, what the fuck is...
Saber scored.
Isn't this like a
Tage Thompson.
a man's cage or something? His home, and he just like rearrange it and they light up.
Audience, we are major Buffalo Bills and Buffalo Sabres fans, and we often live watch these games this week.
Yeah.
Hey,
yes, Tage Thompson.
Speaking of Buffalo sports, shout out to Za Bills.
Yes, good.
Those guys are awesome.
Hell yeah!
Check them out with your podcast if you love the Bills. Which if you don't love the Bills, what the fuck is wrong with you?
America loves the Bills, man.
Yeah,
America's and the rest of the world loves the Bills.
It's not the Cowboys anymore.
Check out Za Bills. Check them out.
Yep,
for sure.
All right, so next up we got Vindicators 3: The Return of Worldender, which was an Adam assignment.
I did not watch this one.
All right, so Sean did not watch it.
I literally, for whatever reason, kept hearing Return of the Mac. Every time I kept seeing the episode,
Return of the Mac.
Great tune, by
the way. Right? And it was just the title of it. And so this continued for me.
You didn't know.
Yep.
Flow.
Yep. Return of the Man. So, one, I could never be in a 90s or early 2000s boy band. But also, it just continued the hilarity and like kind of the randomness for me. I was impressed with this episode and the whole arc's ability to be random but cohesive at the same time. It was just like... It all made sense.
Right.
I didn't question a single thing in this episode as it went through.
So this one for me is the in joke in this one is that it's a sequel episode.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's Worldenders 3 or Vindicators 3, and they keep in the episode referring to the last time they did Vindicators. But of course, there is no previous episode where they did Vindicators.
And I appreciate you telling me that was the joke because ahead of time I've been like, what the fuck? Where's the joke?
Like you missed an episode. But there's no previous Vindicators episode. It's just reference that they teamed up with them one time.
Yeah.
And so then they got skipped for Vindicators 2 because there were creative differences between the superheroes and Rick.
As happens.
And it's crushing to Morty because he idolizes the Vindicators. Mm-hmm. So Sean, since you haven't seen the episode, the premise is Rick gets pissed off. Morty makes him go on this adventure. And Rick gets pissed off and decides to go get a drink, and he steps through his portal. And the next time we see Rick, he is naked and covered in his own diarrhea, and he's been quite a bender. And it turns out, we don't find out till a few minutes later, screen time, but in his drunken bender, he destroyed this universe-threatening villain that they had assembled to defeat while he was drunk off his ass and did not remember doing it.
As per the previous episodes, really, because that's what he does. He just shows up and wipes everybody out.
And then in Worldender's lair, he had created this existential game show that they had to go through. They had to create a series of, or successfully finish a series of challenges about themselves where they would die if they did not. And some of them do.
Some of them do.
That's right.
Yep. And it's quintessential Rick in that, like, he's so smart, he's bored for everything going on.
Yes, I get
which
that
I
idea.
love. Like, so Mike, you had prefaced it almost as if it was like Doc Brown and Marty from Back to the Future.
Right.
In one way. Oh, was that Sean?
That was me.
Sorry. So Sean
But I
prefaced
read
it
that
like that.
somewhere. That's not me.
And I think that's genius. It's like if Doc Brown were an asshole.
Yes.
Like an absolute utter ass.
But he is kind of an asshole.
He is, but not in the same way that Rick is.
Wait, Nerd Nation, real quick. If you want us to do an episode on Back to the Future, which we've toyed about before.
Yeah.
We absolutely
I don't
have.
think we need their permission. I think we should.
I think we
it.
Well, if
this
you
summer.
want it, if you want us to plumb the depths of Back to the Future, please hit us up on the socials. Mm-hmm. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. That's all I was going to say is really that, like, in his assholeness, he just creates a show because he's bored with the whole thing. Like, he could have ended it in the first 4 minutes of the show. Because, I mean, by the time you see him in the drunken bender, it's over.
Right.
It's already done.
Right, he's done all that, and then the show becomes them trying to survive his game show.
Isn't so much of it, too, like, Rick just wants to go on adventures and drag Morty with him, even if Morty doesn't want to.
Right.
Yeah,
So that's part of the premise of this one is that he refuses to go on it. He actually says, I refuse to go on a literal call to adventure. And then Morty goes, I hereby invoke, and he pulls out, and it turns out that Rick at some point in the past had given him a punch card. Almost like going to like for a free haircut or something.
Yeah, a loyalty card.
So for every 9 adventures Rick goes on, did we score?
It looks like
Sabres
it.
2-2.
Woo!
Talk. Mother
Yes.
Jeez Louise.
So
42.
So for every 9 episodes that that Morty goes on, he gets to pick an adventure, and so he invokes that one, and makes Rick go on this Vindicators episode, or adventure, whatever. Okay. So in keeping with it's all very funny, and then at a certain point, it just goes fucking over the top.
Yeah, way too
The part
funny.
for me in this episode is the one where Million Ants is doing the basketball free throw contest.
What the fuck? I gotta watch this now.
Oh, you
have
totally
to watch this one. Yeah.
And I forget the girl superhero's name, but she compliments him. She's like, we make a good team.
What is her name?
And Ghost Train guy.
They're all like off-brand
her
heroes.
Ex-husband, and he's like, yeah, you sure do make a good team.
Yeah,
And he
clearly
starts,
jealous.
So he starts accusing them of having like had an affair.
Oh my god.
Which turns out to be correct.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like,
Ghost Train was
she
right.
goes, we're not married anymore. And he goes, yeah, but were you married when he fucked you? And so then it just keeps going from there. And at one point, she's like, you wish it was just about sex. It was love. We conceived a child.
Oh my god.
And it died inside of me because it was just a bunch of wriggling ants.
Oh my god. Can I also
Yep.
just real quick interjection? Can we do in the future? feature some episodes on The Boys and Invincible?
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've talked about The Boys before. Invincible,
It's
we
all
have
in our
not.
wheelhouse.
Invincible is the guy who did Walking Dead. He did like Robert Kirkman. He did comics about basically like a Superman sort of figure. And anywho, it's superhero, but it's like blatantly violent, blatantly graphic, blatantly fucking awesome.
Nah, man.
And
Boys
right
adjacent.
now, it's part of the zeitgeist. Like people the world over, like Invincible. And I would love to talk about that. Just throwing it out there as a possible next.
Let's do it.
Sort
I'm
of
open.
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah,
right after we do Bigfoot porn.
All right. Yes. Bigfoot porn.
We'll
first.
get there. That's not a throwaway line. We're going there.
That is happening. Maybe we'll talk about that at the end of this episode. So, Adam, anything else on Vindicators?
Just that I love the joke was on the audience.
Yeah.
Right? Because I kept going back going, no, there's not a Vindicators 2.
Yeah, right.
Which, like, you warned me about, but I still was like, no, there's got to be. No.
Last thing I'll say, and then we can move on to the next episode, is possibly like greatest reflection of Rick's attitude or just personality is in this episode when the very last challenge is you had to put an object on the the weight or the scale or whatever that reflects the one thing that Rick does respect about the Vindicators. And so, or else a neutrino bomb is going to go off and blow up the galaxy. So they are like, what the fuck could it possibly be? And someone has the idea. Rick actually,
It's Rick's
sober
idea.
Rick has the idea.
Which
that
is separate from normal Rick.
Right. He's like, it could be Morty. He's like, because Morty respects you guys so much, and maybe I feel a little jealous, and this is my way of letting you guys know, like, okay, you can have him, but I just want you to know how much he means to me. And so Morty's like, I'll cover that bet. And Rick goes, just to be clear, if anyone has any other idea, I don't know. Like, I'm just throwing things out there based on available evidence. So Morty just runs up and jumps on the thing. And it starts to go like it starts to go down, and so you're led to believe that was the correct answer. And Morty gets put on this little like spaceship thing, and he's taken through this like roller coaster thing where Rick is narrating, and he's like, I just have trouble expressing my feelings. I want you to know how much you mean to me. And it gets to the very end of it, and Morty's got like tears in his eyes, and then it turns out he's talking about Noob.
Yep,
the
Noob.
Vindicators have this little janitor sidekick
It's
alien
a nothing burger.
who had laughed at a few of
Yeah.
Rick's jokes in the beginning of the episode, and he was talking about Noob the whole time.
It's almost like, so, the idea of like the neg. Like, I'm going to support you with this negative comment. Every time Morty steps up, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, Rick is he doesn't give a fuck about anybody. All right, so we got the Ricklantis Mixup, which was Sean's assignment, but I thought I heard you say you watched that too.
I did, so I can chime in.
All right, great.
I mean, it was like the whole Citadel thing, and like what's going on here, what's going on there. Like it was almost like an opportunity for them to do a small story, but it still became a big story thing and destroy the.
I almost get the feeling that's
Citadel.
every Rick and Morty story. Actually, you think it's going to stay small, but then because of the multiverse effect, it just keeps traveling out.
You got the cop Morty and like his new Rick, and then you got like the guy who's like, oh. I love the Cookie Factory. And how it's just like
Simple Rick.
Oh my god,
Simple Rick.
His name's Simple Rick.
That was fucking awesome. Like the whole thing was just, again, absurd. It was just absurd. If you value absurdity, this is your show.
If you live in 2025, this is your show.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, yeah, because the whole thing also was like, how does this like nefarious dictator rise to power? And but I assigned that one to you, Sean, because I thought you'd appreciate the whole multi-genre mix-up of it. Because Harry Potter was in there a little bit with like,
Training Day, like there's
Training Day,
so many great like callback.
Some good montages in there.
Yeah,
that's a good one. All right, so this brings us to what I am going to argue is the single greatest payoff ever: the Vat of Acid episode.
Not Pickle Rick.
No, he said it was the funniest episode.
Yeah,
but
the Vat of Acid is the single greatest payoff.
Yeah.
The end of the episode is like the greatest payoff. Did you watch it?
Honestly, I think I might have missed this one.
Oh, no. Did you watch it?
I did, but I was really tired. So I'm going to talk about it.
sorry.
All right.
I think
Mike, you're going to have to carry the
I think
episode.
I spaced on that one.
Mike's gonna have to carry this
Yeah,
one.
in
You're
Rick and Morty
gonna-
fashion,
right.
I fucked up.
You're going to carry
So-
that weight, Space
All right,
Cowboy.
so this is, I really wanted to get your guys' reaction on this
sorry.
one
Oh,
because
I'm sorry.
It was like 1 in the morning when
So
I was
this
trying to watch
episode-
this one.
So this episode it's the payoff. That is what makes this episode great.
Okay.
The whole episode is just it's pedestrian, which by Rick and Morty standards is very funny, but it doesn't stand out to you as like immediately great. It is what it is. It's just an episode. And then the payoff is incredible. So I'll walk you through it. So in the beginning, they're landing on this planet and they're going into this like factory industrial type place or whatever, where Rick is going to trade one kind of crystal for another kind of crystal.
Standard space opera.
With these like mafioso type aliens or whatever. And he starts telling Morty in advance, like, if anything goes bad, he goes, I got a good escape plan. He goes, there's all these vats of acid in this industrial factory. He goes, so I just made a fake one that looks exactly like the others. And Morty's like, that sounds really stupid. And Rick's like, trust me, it'll work. So, of course, the standoff goes bad with the mafiosos, and Rick grabs Morty and they jump over into the vat of acid. And then they put on these like air masks. We see them under the water, and they're releasing bones to like, float up to the surface. The mafia guys are like, oh my God, I can't. They suddenly become all gentle. They're like, he did that to his own grandson. Did you see how long it took those bones to float up? I can't imagine the pain. And they're like, the goons that are with him are like, well, boss, we can stay here as long as you need. And he goes, I feel like this is where it happened. I need to really feel the moment and like, blah, blah, blah. So they stay. But Rick's got all these other little things like queued up. So like at one point they flick a rat in there and he's got like some little bones that he releases.
The rat
They're like,
bones.
well, maybe it wasn't like they dip like a ladle in there and he's got a fake ladle that he holds up that's like singed on the end or whatever. But they still aren't leaving. So it ends with Morty jumping out of the acid and he just fucking blasts them all with a laser gun and they die. And then they get in the spaceship and Rick is just glaring at Morty and they're sitting there in angry silence. And then they start fucking fighting and Morty's like, what the fuck, Rick? He's like, well, I always thought you were so smart. A fucking vat of acid? What the fuck? I think you're losing it, Rick. And so they just
That's where I fell asleep.
So they fight the whole way home. And then their fight, by the time they get home, turns into, it's been Morty accusing Rick of losing it. You're getting old, you're losing your edge, whatever. But by the time they get home, it's turned into like Rick doesn't respect Morty. Everything he does is for Rick. He never does anything for Morty. And Rick's like, well, what do you want me to do? And Morty's like, well, I told you I had that one idea where like you'd be able to hit like a reset button, like a video game. So then you could do whatever you want and then you'd come back. And Rick's like, that's a fucking stupid idea. Do you know how much time that would take? And Morty's like, yes, because you can't do it. And Rick's like, of course I could fucking do it. It's not worth doing. And they're screaming at each other, right? And so finally Rick goes, fuck you. And he starts grabbing some things and welding them together. And Morty's like, are you doing it? And he's like, yeah, I'm fucking doing it. So anyways, Morty comes out, like it's implied time has passed. He comes out and he's like, Rick, it's 3 a.m. What are you doing? And Rick's sitting there and he's like, I don't know. I have to admit, you might have been right. He goes, I think I failed. I think, maybe I am not as smart as I thought I was or whatever. And then he turns around and he's like, maybe I should just fucking kill you. And he shoots Morty on the spot. And then he resets
Hits the reset button.
And he's like, because I fucking did it.
That's where I woke
right?
back up.
So
Yep.
Morty's like, well, how did you do it? How did you do it? And Rick goes, well, you want me to explain it to you in detail or do you want to go have some fun? And Morty's like, yeah, have some fun. So then the rest of the episode becomes like, it's like a montage for a while of him just having a blast. He does crazy shit. He does like death by cop, like he waves a gun at a cop and he
Shoot him
does
down.
all this other crazy shit and he just keeps going back in a video game to his reset spot. Then it gets serious and like he meets this girl and the reset spot was right before he met her, but they hit it off. They start going on all these dates. Like they meet each other's families and like it's getting really emotional and like they go on a plane and they're going on, I don't know if it's like their honeymoon or whatever, but like the plane wing blows up and they crash in like the fucking wilderness. And like they go through all this horrible, horrible shit. And then finally he tries to kill himself at one point, but she catches him and then it's like this tearful moment. So then he decides to set off into the wilderness to to find the back half of the plane where he
Is
left.
this Rick or Morty?
This is Morty. Where he left his reset.
Because I was gonna say he's looking for his reset.
And on the way there, he like fights wolves and everything, and he finally gets there, and he got the reset thing, but he bravely decides not to press the reset thing. He decides to call 911, and they get rescued. He wakes up in the hospital. The family's there. She comes in, and then they're home and they're watching TV, and his dad thinks it's the TV remote and hits the reset thing.
Yep. So he like survives the whole thing. He refuses to hit reset because that would have lost all that time with her.
Right.
And it's
But
gone.
we are not to the greatest payoff in the world yet, by the way. I know I saw that before. The Sabres gave up a goal, fans at home. We're not to the greatest payoff in the world yet. So he goes back to the reset moment, and then he sees her, and he runs up to her in a panic, right? And freaks her out, and she
Because she doesn't know
she
they
hits him
reset.
with pepper spray as he's hitting the reset button, and so he keeps resetting it to the pepper spray and whatever. Then he goes through a whole montage of ways he's torturing himself because he lost his loving relationship. One of them is he keeps walking and throwing himself into like the gorilla cage at the zoo, and they rip him apart. So anyways, at the end of all that, he walks into the garage and he tries to hand back the device to Rick, and he's like, maybe you were right. Maybe this isn't technology that we should have, or blah, 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 or whatever. And he goes, I'm just glad to know I didn't really do any of that stuff. And Rick goes, well, the problem is you did do all of it. He goes, I didn't create a time loop. I don't respect time travel. He goes, and he explains how it's sort of like when you're recording and like you copy it and move it to another timeline. Yeah. So he's like in all these other, he just kept, every time he hit the reset button, he was moving to like a similar parallel universe.
Oh no.
And, Rasmus Dahlin scores.
There we go. 3-3.
So then he's like, but don't worry, Morty. He goes, I got a way. He's like, I can merge all of these timelines. He's like, but someone still has to pay the consequences. They don't just go away or whatever. So he merges them all, and then he opens the garage, and he goes, speaking of which, and then all these different international agencies show up, like fucking SWAT teams and armies and all these people that Morty has wronged throughout the episode. Right?
It's like they've been like teleported into the garage.
Right. They're all there, and they're like, Morty, get down on the ground, you sick piece of shit, and blah, 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 or whatever. And he's like, oh my God, Rick, oh my God, what do I do? Rick goes, yeah, Morty, I don't know. I can't think of a single way out of this. Unless. And then the camera cuts over and there's a fucking vat of acid on the lid.
Oh my God.
It is the fucking most brilliant moment in television. I swear to God. So Morty goes, son of a bitch. And so he has to go over and he has to climb in, and Rick's standing behind him going, no, don't do it. It's acid. It'll kill you immediately. And then he has to go in, and Morty's in there, like, you got one guy sticks a ladle in, and he's got to do the ladle.
Yeah, the ladle comes back out. Yeah.
I give. Yeah. I will watch this entire series now.
We bent your arm.
Yes. My arm is broken.
It's just a masterclass of storytelling in a way that is, like, self-aware. That is so interesting.
The peak of that actual metafictional aspect of it is one of the ones I had on here.
Further reading.
Never Ricking Morty. It starts on a train, and what you realize, the whole show is about like fictional storytelling things that get brought into it, and it's hard to explain, and I won't bog the show down by saying it, but like it's if you like fiction and you like the art of storytelling, that's the episode to watch. That shit is fucking
so are we saying like watch it?
I think watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like, Pickle Rick is, like, culturally relevant.
Yeah.
I mean, when my 9-year-old who's never seen an episode is like, is that Pickle Rick? Pickle Rick! I'm Pickle Rick!
I love myself.
Yeah. Come get this brine.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the whole series is just so smartly aware of what it's already done and what it can do. It's just so damn impressive.
The vat of acid episode is a perfect example of like it's otherwise it's an average episode, but even that average episode, it like at the moment when Rick says unless, and you know instinctively you're like, fuck, you had totally forgotten about
Yeah.
the vat of acid.
The Chekhov's gun was sitting there
the
the whole time.
genius of it, like it is fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
And then it also was like Rick's pettiness and his desire to prove.
Yes.
The whole thing was his desire to prove Morty's wrong. And
Yeah.
like,
Nothing is ever going to happen unless it's Rick being right.
so, and every episode is like that. Like they're
Yeah.
all just.
Yep. I will
Yeah.
watch the rest of the series. It is that good.
Famous voice actors too.
Yeah,
Like there are
lots
some
of them, yep.
huge names in this series.
Yes.
It's just hilarious. So, I mean, we're an easy unanimous yes on this one.
100%.
It sounds like.
Yep.
right?
Wait a minute.
What? No.
Yes.
Yes.
Watch it twice.
Yep.
A rare yes from Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah. A rare yes from
Oh,
all
yes.
three of us. There's only been maybe 3 or 4 in the
Yeah,
whole
there's not a
series
lot where,
of us.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah,
Right?
usually I'm with the contrarian, but man, this scratches my itch.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. Listen, Jaguar, your daughter has been killed. There's only one chance for my daughter left. My daughter is gone, but you can get your daughters. Do I have infinite daughters? Like that alone is worth it to understand that premise and that setup.
And if you want, watch Sliders.
Yeah, with Jerry
I'll have to watch
O'Connell.
that now because I didn't catch any of
You
this
never
stuff
saw
either.
Sliders?
I don't think so.
Jerry O'Connell,
Are you a
bro.
millennial or zennial or whatever the hell you are?
Elder millennial.
You're a millennial.
I'm
We're
an
zennials.
elder millennial.
For all the many, many movies I have watched, it's always amazing the ones I have not watched.
It was not a movie.
Yeah,
It was a TV
it was
show.
a TV show.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that.
It was like Star Trek in a way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sliders. Jerry O'Connell.
They
and John
uncontrollably
Rhys
slid
Davis.
between
Was that like early 90s
multiverses.
or
Mid-90s?
Mid-90s,
Okay.
yeah.
I watched-
It died before 2000.
All right.
It was very much like anything else we talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Some greatness, some like what the
Some
fuck.
Yeah, that sounds like Star Trek.
Yep.
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 And I'd love to tell you, dear audience, what we're going to be doing next, but we have to decide as a cast.
We had decided on a theme.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
we're gonna watch some. We're gonna read some Bigfoot erotica.
Yep. Are you ready for?
He pulled out his huge hairy member
Which was only seen at a distance. And
and blurry.
It did not conform to Euclidean geometry.
Oh yeah, dear audience, you're in for it. We're going cryptozoological erotica. It's gonna be awesome.
well, so we had talked about, that was Sean's idea. I want to
Yeah. We're just put it there.
I want credit to be where credit
Look,
is.
We all
I just
agreed.
watched Rick and Morty. I'm all about the. You know what? Let's fuck this shit up.
Yeah.
I
Break the
love it.
multiverse.
I love it. And then Adam had said he had a Bigfoot related movie in mind.
I do. I have to make sure I get the title right because there's a couple that are really close in title
Right.
that I
It's
don't
not
want to
Harry and the Hendersons.
It's not Harry and the
Okay,
Hendersons. No.
alright.
No.
And
no.
then I had thought, well, while we're doing this, we might as well go all in. There's a movie called The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot.
Sam
That's-
Elliott.
That's Sam
Yeah.
Elliott. That's the name of the movie. That was not me paraphrasing. That's the
Oh,
name
yeah.
of the movie.
We've been talking about this for years.
Yeah, we've been
Yeah.
talking about it for years. We're going to do it. And then the Sanderson thing. We're going to get to Sanderson too. We
And that's from
had,
listener Kevin.
Kevin Yu gave us some really good synopsises
Yeah.
of Sanderson books to read. And as a recommendation and by happenstance, I actually listened to Sanderson's The Frugal Wizard's Guide to I forgot the rest of the title. But it's like a multiverse story that was super good for middle grade. It was very good.
Yeah, and as a sci-fi fantasy podcast that's been around for 60 or so episodes,
Mm-hmm.
Sanderson is, an oversight. We should do.
We should
some
get there.
Sanderson.
It's been a while since
Yeah.
we did high fantasy.
Absolutely.
I will have
Yeah.
plenty of time to watch and read everything in the near future. And dear listeners, I want to say, if you have time, check us out. Check our back episodes out. Check out Zabil's Friends
Yeah.
of the Cast.
Yeah. I'm going to dare say cousin cast.
Yeah, cousin
pretty close.
cast.
Cousin
yes,
cast.
I like that. Cousin
Sister
cast.
cast. I like sister cast.
We can do sister cast. It doesn't have to be gendered. Sibling cast.
It's just a nearer cast. Check out the Zabil's podcast for your bills and local pizza for Western New Yorkers. Even if you're like not local,
No.
Let's
You
say
like the
you're-
Bills?
well,
You
if
like
you're
America's team?
if you're in Australia or Zimbabwe or any of the other places who listen to us, thank you, by the way, world.
Yes.
We will
Planet
say,
Earth.
yes, planet. We honestly, our metrics, we have cast downloads from around the fucking globe.
Nova Scotia has been represented
Yes.
lately. Well, Wales has been up there.
Not just the English speaking world
No,
either.
man.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
We love all of you.
Yeah.
Please come back. Please listen to us more because we do this for you.
Yeah. And we would love to hear suggestions from the parts of the world that we don't read very often.
Yes.
You know,
Great point.
I know we're kind of America-centric, but that's really just because of where we're
live
geographically based. Yeah. Like, if there's a great, like, sci-fi or fantasy Welsh writer, I want to fucking read that.
You know what? We are
All day.
physically bound to our American bodies, but we are mentally free.
Yeah.
And we can go anywhere.
Yeah, that
That
deserves
was
it.
beautiful, man.
Yeah.
That was
You're
beautiful.
welcome.
All right, well, Sean's got to go drink a bunch of water and hold his breath.
Oh my God, the hiccups
He's
are
been
terrible.
struggling today.
I'm sorry.
But we really appreciate you, dear listener. And, you know, just as a reminder, if you ever need any fiction or any book, you can go to bookshop.org/NOTOR, Nerds of the Old Republic. And that is us. We'll get 15% of any purchase you make just by clicking through that link, and you're supporting local bookstores near you, which is great. That's bookshop.org/NOTOR. And then also, Mike has been working hard to tell a visual story on Blue Sky. Mike, do you want to talk about that for a sec?
No, just we're getting it going again. We were part of the what's the word I'm looking for here? We were fleeing. We were expatriates.
Yeah.
of,
Exodus.
an
Expats
exodus.
of
That
X.
is the word I was looking for. And part of the mass exodus from Twitter. So we're trying to get our Blue Sky account going. So it would help us out a lot if you gave us a follow there if you like the show. And we are also starting to get some book reviews going on Goodreads. So you can check our stuff out there. And, you know, that would be another place to maybe make some recommendations to us as well. Leave some comments for us. And we're open to what you guys want to hear.
As always, let us know what you're thinking.
Yeah. And until the next time, cheers, nerds.
Cheers.
Wubba lubba dub dub!